Hello Internet and welcome to another episode of Automotive Karnage. In today's episode, we get on the inside of the S13 and we tie up a few loose ends. So here we are in the engine bay of the Silvia, and as much as I want to be working on that engine and getting it running, the starter motor still has not arrived, unfortunately. So we are working on headlights instead. Now if you remember at the end of the last episode, they were doing some pretty funky things where they were turning off at the wrong time, or all of them were turning on when only the low beam should be on. They were just all over the show and doing some real weird things. So after a bit of investigating, I found out in the driver's side here, I pulled the plug out of the back of the stalk, and that's not very good, is it? So it looks like there's been a little bit of a fire or heat, excessive heat, somewhere along the line, and it's caused those terminals to just eat away at the plastic. I depinned the plug and just attached them all in individually up and behind here, and it sort of fixed the problem. So I've got a new one of these coming. Well, I say new, but second hand, with a new plug as well to replace that, and hopefully with all new parts we should be good to go. Man, that could have been so much worse than... Well, there's a guy's bloody lucky, actually, that that's happened. Anyway, so today we're going to take the steering wheel off and get that stalk off, and we'll get it all ready for when the new one arrives. Other things we have to fix today, if we get down in here, seat belts. There's no stalks attached, so because there's not enough room to pull the bolt out, we have to take the seats completely out, reattach the seat belt stalks, and then put the seats back in.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so that was going really well until we put this one in, and it doesn't actually hold it in. It doesn't click, so gotta get a new set there. So I might be able to way of just getting a stalk, but there's a bloke selling a whole set for a really good price, so we'll just go replace everything because they're both wrapped in duct tape anyway, which is a bit hoary. So next we'll get onto that steering wheel. We're going to pull the steering wheel off so that we can get the stalk off for the headlights. As I said, we've got one of those coming in the mail as well. So let's jump over there and do that. You know what I've just noticed, guys? I don't think I need to take the steering wheel off of here. Let's undo the screw. Yep, that ended okay. And then this one. Come on, Nissan reliability, Nissan ease of service. Oh, you beauty! Excellent! Well, that made that job a hell of a lot easier. Ha! Fantastic. What's next? Next we need to... Oh, this. Okay, so this is irritating me, right? Is you can't actually select the next gear, right? You gotta hold down this red lock button, and then you can push that in, and then you can go through the gears. Alright? But for some reason when you're in park, you can't activate it. So we're going to see if we can just completely disconnect that shift button. So let's see how that goes. Okay, so that was a little bit trickier than expected, but pretty much these little white plastic bits down here, they are a highly complicated, over necessary locking mechanism to hold this into park. This solenoid here is part of it, which I assume is the part that's broken, because it's also meant to automatically release it when you start the car or something. I'm not going to chase the wiring, I can't be bothered doing that, so all I've done is figure out that this metal tab here, if I knock that down, it actually stops the lock from activating. Now it's still perfectly safe and holds into park, no problem, but I'm actually able to push down the button and freely roll it through the gears now. as opposed to having to hold this down and manually release. A lot nicer and easier to use. I can go ahead, put the console back in, and move on to the next item on the agenda. So here's the next item on the agenda. Its goodies have arrived. So we'll start the smallest first. In this box we have our new alarm system, our alarm slash immobilizer, motion sensor and what have you. It is a law in West Australia that to have a car registered on the road you must have some sort of immobilizer fitted to it. So that's that. This one here comes from the lovely folks at GK Tech. Great website actually, you can do some more shopping on there. But like many Silvias I've since found out, the overflow bottle has cracked, so this is a great replacement. Very sturdy and strong. And the piece de resistance in here somewhere. Brand new starter motor. So let's line that one up. That. Next to that one. Is that the same? Is that the same? Ooh, it's a bit smaller. Ooh, hopefully it's just more efficient technology these days. Anyway, so I reckon out of these we start with this one, because if we can get this in, we will know if the engine in that beast actually turns over or not. So let's get cracking. Okay, so here we go. We've got the starter motor in, that's all hooked up. We've got the battery connected. I'm going to jump inside the car and crank the engine. Now, we're hoping for it to crank consistently, but if it starts and fires up, that's even better. So I'm going to leave you out here. See what you can see. I'm going this way. Ready? Okay, so that's not going according to plan. The ignition barrel is playing up for some reason, but we've got a new one of those coming, so hopefully that helps. And it wants to fire, so we're going to give it a little bit of artificial fuel, and let's see what happens then. Okay, we're getting there. We've got consistent cranking now, which is really nice. We're still not firing. So while you guys are away, because welcome to Australia, the camera got too hot again, we fixed an exhaust leak underneath. The catalytic converter was not connected up properly, so a couple of loose bolts there, done. We've charged up the battery a little bit. We've completely drained the fuel tank of all the old stale fuel and we've put 20 litres of fresh fuel in there. Oh, and also because of a couple of the smart cookies over at the Silvia WA Facebook page, they let me know that the air line has to be completely enclosed. A little bit different to the Buick engine and the V6 that I'm used to. But let's give that a crack and see what happens. 2,000 revs. I don't understand that. So it's sitting at 2,000, spikes up to 2.5, cuts out, jumps back down again, and that's where you're getting that up and down kind of motion sounding like this. So yeah, between 2 and 2.5. So I think research is in order to find out why it's doing that. But in the meantime, that's where I'm going to leave you guys. That's the end of this episode. We've got it running. I'm so excited. We've still got more bits and pieces to do before we can get a roadworthy done. But until then, yes, it works. I'm so excited. We're almost there.